In the previous episode, I shared with you an article about minimalism and its wonderful benefits. Therefore, in today's episode, I will share more about how I have proactively designed a minimalist lifestyle for myself. However, before delving into the details, let's revisit the general spirit of minimalism, what it is like, and my personal perspective in today's consumer society. Minimalism, a philosophy that I have pursued and experienced for many years, is a journey of continuously searching for and eliminating things that do not add value to life, to make room for things that are truly important. In today's consumer society, we often get caught up in the whirlwind of possession. We shop, hoard, and eventually get overwhelmed by countless items, many of which we do not need or do not add value to our lives. We carry quite a lot of things on us, and precisely because of hoarding and owning too many things, it has dispersed our resources and focus, leading to the result that although we have a lot of things, many of them are not of quality. These non-quality things turn back and reduce the quality of our lives. For instance, let's look at our wardrobes. How many sets of clothes do we actually wear regularly? How many pairs of shoes do we really need? And how many items in our house truly serve their purpose? The answer is usually not many. Instead, we often overshop, leading to waste not only in living space, but also in time, money, and energy. It just sits there, cluttering our house year after year, and it doesn't serve any purpose for our lives. Or if it does, it's only the purposes that we self-justify that we come up with. Minimalist living is not about giving up everything to live in deprivation. Instead, it's about focusing on what's truly important, what adds value to life. It's about us proactively choosing what's worth our time, space, and energy. We are allowed to devote our fullest attention to those things so that they will make our lives better in quality. When we start this journey, we will realize that minimalist living is not limited to material possession. It also affects all aspects of life, from social relationships, work, education, to health and spirit. And when we apply this philosophy to life, we will find life becoming lighter, freer, and more meaningful. That is the ultimate goal of minimalist living, a better quality life, not a life of hardship or deprivation. That is the core spirit of minimalist living that I want to share with you in today's episode. I hope that through these shares, you will have a deeper understanding of minimalist living and how to apply it to everyday life. Firstly, minimalism is not only about owning fewer material possessions, but also about simplifying our desires. For example, as I mentioned earlier, try looking around your house, starting with your wardrobe, then the items around the house, to see how many items exist that do not bring much value to us. Or if they do, the value they bring is very small, almost negligible. Now, imagine after getting rid of all those items, if sold, they would bring a certain amount of money to us. Or if we donate them to charity, they would bring us joy. That's just at the moment we give them up. The real value lies afterwards. After we have resolved that issue, our homes will become much more spacious, comfortable, and tidy. Our lives will be of higher quality with the remaining items. We will have the opportunity to fully utilize their functions. Gradually, they will make us feel content, and this contentment will be the source of happiness and make our lives of higher quality. Furthermore, gradually, it will make us more careful in shopping and in allowing another item to enter our lives. When we have achieved this state, it not only helps us always have a neat and light life, but also helps us save more. Thanks to this saving, whenever we really need an item, we will be allowed to choose expensive items with the best quality. And this cycle will repeat itself, so that the final result is, instead of previously owning 1,000 items around us, but all are miscellaneous items of poor quality, now we only own 50 items, but all are the best quality items. These are the advantages of material minimalism, the first factor that people often think of when mentioning minimalism. But besides the material aspect, there are still many other factors that I have built for myself. Minimalism is not just about optimizing living space and managing personal assets, but also about optimizing daily work. In the past, I often got engrossed in many projects and tasks at once, leading to the fact that I couldn't fully focus on any specific task. However, thanks to the application of minimalist philosophy, I have learned to choose tasks more carefully, focusing on the most important tasks and eliminating unnecessary ones. This not only helps me improve work efficiency, but also helps me find more joy and happiness in work. By focusing on what's really important, I have been able to produce better results and feel more satisfied with my work. This is a typical example of how I apply minimalism to my daily work, helping me improve the quality of life and work. Regarding this, Steve Jobs has a famous saying. The saying goes something like, "Simplicity is harder than complexity." We have to strive to keep our minds clear to create simplicity, and the end result is very valuable. This is an example of applying minimalism to professional work. In addition, we can also use minimalism to apply to all management tasks. In work, I have applied minimalism to focus on the most important tasks, thereby eliminating unnecessary tasks. I have worked with many business leaders and found that many people often forget their real needs when they first set up a company. They set up a personnel structure and put people in positions that may not be necessary at the initial stage. Instead, the biggest need at this stage is to verify the business idea, the product, to see if there is a real market demand or not. Or when the company grows, many people start thinking about raising more capital from venture capital funds. However, not all business models are suitable for venture capital funds. Sometimes creating a moderate business with positive cash flow, enough to generate income for us and our employees, is worthwhile. In these cases, we do not necessarily have to seek capital from venture capital funds. The philosophy of minimalism can help us go back to determine what we really need, want, and enough for us. From there, we can build everything based on that foundation, instead of hugging things outside our real needs. This is how I have applied minimalism to my work. Minimalism is not only about owning fewer material possessions, but also about simplifying our relationships in life. We live in a society where having a wide network of relationships is highly valued. There are cases where we can befriend anyone, anywhere, of any background. Of course, if these are truly quality relationships, I do not object. But try to look back in your memory. How many people make both you and them feel uncomfortable every time you meet? Even worse, there are relationships where people dislike each other, but still maintain those relationships. As a result, our attention has to be shared for all relationships, from those we truly love to those we neither like nor dislike, for all those who we do not feel comfortable being around, or even those we hate. For me, since applying the minimalist approach, I have allowed myself to decisively eliminate most of the relationships that I do not like, including those relationships that I perceive as making both me and them feel uncomfortable when being together. From there, I have full rights to devote my time to those who I truly love and feel comfortable being around. The act of reducing low-quality relationships has given me more time. From there, I use this extra time to focus on truly quality relationships that I want to prioritize. That is the minimalism in relationships. I believe that the philosophy of minimalism can also be applied to relationships and family matters. This is because everyone has different needs in life. Some people want to build a family, have children, and raise them. But there are also those who just need a life partner with whom they can share the joys and sorrows of life, to journey together to the ends of the earth. They don't need to build a family with children. There will also be people who just want to focus on their ambitions and dreams in their work. In these cases, they might just need a girlfriend or boyfriend to share a bit of joy and sorrow, and that's enough. And because everyone has different needs in life, it's important to determine what you really want. Only then can your life not be a burden, and more importantly, it won't make the people around you suffer. All of this is because they can't determine what they want, what is enough for them. Looking around, we will see some cases where they just need a girlfriend, but they bring a wife home, and in the end, both have to suffer. Now, let's imagine the opposite case with those people. These are the people who want to spend 80% of their time in their life for work, 20% of their time for love. Now, suppose they live according to their needs. They can spend most of their time focusing on work, and they have a life partner, and others there also only need to spend 20% of their time for love, and they match each other, then society will have 2 more happy people. Or because there is an unhappy family, and these needs can change depending on each stage in life. You can be in your 20s and your needs belong to the 3rd group. But when you're in your 30s, your needs may shift to the 2nd group. And when you're in your 40s, your needs may be in the 1st group. This change is completely normal. When our needs change, we can add or subtract depending on how much is enough for us. And also because of that reason, in the book about IMEI, I mentioned an idea that the act of constantly returning to check what you want is a very important thing and should be done regularly. If not, we will easily live according to inertia. The important thing about minimalism is that it always reminds us to determine clearly what we want. Another aspect that is quite close to minimalism is when setting goals. With the idea that I just shared with you, it is that I allow myself to simplify life goals. In the past, I always had countless goals at once, such as financial building goals, career goals, love, friends, family, health, all sorts of things, all kinds of goals. Until one point I realized that my time and energy are limited. And I always believe that there is nothing in the world that can produce results that we do not devote time and perseverance to, whether it is running or playing a musical instrument, to bigger goals like building a business or building a love relationship. All of it requires us to be extremely persistent and hardworking. There is never a thing like day 1, day 2, and there are results. If there is, it will come in a way that if it comes quickly, it will also go quickly. That's why now I only set a few goals for myself, so that I can focus wholeheartedly on those goals. I always consider very carefully every time I set a new goal. A recent example is that I really want to play golf. But after thinking about it, I had to postpone this goal, because when asking myself, that is whether I still have enough time to be able to persist with it for a long enough time, then my answer is no. I still have many other higher priority things to focus on. So in the end, I decided to postpone it. And that is the simplification of the goals that I have chosen for my life in the present. Another aspect where we can apply the principles of minimalism is in finance. On the journey towards financial freedom, it is primarily a journey where we identify our basic needs and live according to those needs. This opens up the path for us to use what we have to do other things. We use money to create a safety net for us, in case our lives fall into instability and poverty. Moreover, we use it to build a final financial fortress that completely liberates us from the influence of money. Only when we have identified our needs can we pave the way to do those things. Minimalism encourages us to find the answer to the question of how much money is enough to create value for life. Above are some examples of how we can apply the philosophy of minimalism to various aspects of life. As long as we understand the origin of this philosophy, there are still many other aspects that we can apply it to. I have applied minimalism to the aspect of investment as well. Looking at my investment tenure, many people might think that my investment portfolio must contain a lot of companies and various types of investments. But the reality is not so. I don't invest in the style of buy whatever company I come across. On the contrary, the portfolio of companies that I invest in is actually not large. Precisely because it is not large, I can devote my time and effort to thoroughly research and analyze before making an investment decision in any company. As I have shared in previous episodes, the time I spend on these research stages is usually counted in many months, even years. Precisely because I don't invest in the start investing there style, I can devote so much of my focus, thereby increasing the success rate. Another aspect that is quite close to what I just shared with you, but in a different aspect, is simplifying the concerns in our lives. There are always countless things wanting to attract our attention and concern. Somewhere, there will always be someone talking bad about us that we also care about. Then, on the internet, there is some drama, some singers going with some actors. Then neighbors or cliques talk behind our backs, and we also go find out what they are saying, even have to go to retaliate against them. Then relatives gossip in and out, commenting on what our lifestyle is like. Whatever we take into ourselves, whatever we care about, surely our life cannot be of quality. Instead, we just ignore the world. As long as what they say, what they do, does not affect our lives, we just ignore it all. So from there, we are free to focus all our attention on those we love, such as parents, lovers, or friends that we value. Once again, the reduction here will help us increase elsewhere, better quality. The minimalist living motto, after all, is just that simple. And one last example is me. The essence is that we live for our own happiness, not to pursue standards set by others. There are many who adopt a minimalist lifestyle without understanding this core principle, which sometimes leaves them feeling lost and questioning why they still don't feel happy despite living minimally. I hope that through today's episode, I've helped you gain a better understanding of this lifestyle. It's a way of life that has added great value to my own life, and I hope it will do the same for yours. I'll conclude this episode here. I actually have more content prepared on this minimalist lifestyle, but as this episode is already quite lengthy, I'll pause here for now. If you find this content beneficial, please share it with your friends so more people can learn from our report. Thank you, and see you in the next episodes.